artistic, you know. They're in their own world.
They don't care what anyone thinks. They don't care about anyone. They do their own thing.
They're kind of rebels, so, you know, we kind of dig them pretty much.
We totally idolize Slash as a guitarist. I have the same kind of guitar as Slash.
I love their attitude. I love Axl Rose. He's my idol. I want to grow up to be Axl Rose.
Why is Axl Rose awesome? Look at the guy. Just look at the guy.
The most notorious band in the world.
In the world. Why
in the world?
Worldwide. Worldwide.
And I have to usually somewhat keep it a bit controlled and stuff so things don't get crazy and stuff. But, you know, I was out signing autographs and talking to other people tonight.
I've always been the one, you know, the type to take the time out to talk to people. It's like when it comes down to it, that's where we're happening.
With Guns N' Roses fans, there's a lot of Axl, you know, but it's like this is a band and I wouldn't be able to do what I do the way I do it and wouldn't be able to get the recognition if I didn't have the band I have being supportive and playing the music that they play that makes me run around and stuff. You know, we all pretty much get off on each other a lot. Right now we don't use a set list. We just pick song to song on how it feels and what we think we can perform best and what I think vocally I can do best.
Our shows, we never had a perfect show. And, you know, like a lot of bands, I will say the names or whatever, they have like the set list and they say the same thing in between songs every night. That's like going to a 9-to-5 job to me.
Now I get up around whenever. I used to get up on time. But that old man, he's a real muscle. Gonna get me on down tonight.
My first live show with Guns N' Roses was Rock in Rio.
What was that like?
It was like a blur. I was like, man, I can't believe this. You know, I mean, I would be like completely lying and ridiculous if I said I wasn't nervous for that.
Said woman, take it slow, and things will work out fine. All we need is just a little patience.
We go out and it's real for us. It's like the first couple songs we feel what the crowd's like, and it's not an easy thing to do to be able to. You can't fake it, you know. So we go out there and do it the way we do it.
When it comes down to it, I mean, we really are just a touring band, and that's what we're geared toward, and that's what we should be doing, and that's what we're gonna do.
Having conquered the hard rock precincts of their native land, Guns N' Roses next set out to whip the rest of the world into line with its non-stop 3-hour live show. Nearing the start of its second year on the road, the band played a massive combination AIDS benefit and tribute concert near London for the late Freddie Mercury, frontman for one of Guns' all-time favorite bands, Queen.
The idea behind the whole concert, the fact that it was completely sold out before they knew who was on the bill, talking about the public, and it sold out the way it did, gave it a sort of certain kind of energy to the AIDS awareness thing, especially in the rock and roll circle. And losing Freddie to it was, you know, like a catastrophe, and it turned everybody's heads around. Having everybody show up at the concert for that cause was great. And then all the bands that were there, there was none of that sort of rock star, you know, who's who of rock vibe going on. So we all had a basically good time, and it was really well organized.
Following the Freddie Mercury tribute, Guns N' Roses set out to see the rest of Europe, from an opening date in Dublin to concerts in such formerly restricted areas as Hungary and Czechoslovakia, where the group performed in the historic capital city of Prague.
Prague, the crowd was great, and the people were very interested in the American culture and talking to us. They spoke English very well.
Claiming frustration at the fact that the band couldn't play for every fan who wanted to see it, Guns N' Roses scheduled a pay-per-view cable concert to be shot at the Hippodrome de Vincennes in Paris and broadcast to 14 countries, Special guests on the bill included members of Aerosmith, Guns buddy Lenny Kravitz, and legendary guitarist Jeff Beck.
I just got a phone call from my manager saying, Guns N' Roses have called you. Would you care to step on stage and do a number with them? And I said, where? In Paris. I said, yep, let's go. But they told me Locomotive was the song, and it's pretty, it's a lot of changes in it. Yeah. I guess they thought that I'd be all right for that, for a guest spot.
Beck and the band roared through a rehearsal for the Paris show and may have overdone it. Beck, who suffers from a loud music-induced hearing disorder called tinnitus, had to bail out of the concert itself due to pain in his ears, leaving this rehearsal footage as the only suggestion of what might have been. Lenny Kravitz joined the band for a rendition of his own song, Always on the Run, a tune for which Slash composed the guitar riff.
It was a riff that I wrote initially. I mean, I write everything for Guns, you know, and sometimes, especially when Steve was in the band, you know, some stuff was definitely too funky. And so we just didn't use it, and I put it on the back burner. And so now, having Guns play it, I was like, you guys don't even realize how funny this is.
For a jam on the old Yardbirds classic Train Kept A-Rollin', the band brought on singer Steven Tyler and guitarist Joe Perry of Aerosmith, a group for which Guns N' Roses had been an opening act only a few years earlier.
So they just showed up to watch Jeff play, you know, and then we just got everyone out there, and we had never really rehearsed it or anything, but it sounded cool.
It's kind of a great position to be in, to be able to ask, you know, people like that, and they go, yeah, and they're into it. You know, they did it because they want to jam, you know.
Next up on the unending Guns itinerary was a co-headlining summer tour with the band's hard rock pals in Metallica, an outing that kicked off on July 17th in Washington, D.C.
I mean, basically, how we hooked up was that we both had the same lawyer back here in L.A. in like 87, 88. And hi, Peter. And he said, you know, he said to me, there's these guys in this new band called Guns N' Roses before the record came out, before Appetite came out. There's these guys in LA that you got to hook up with because they have the same attitude and you guys will get along with them really well. So we hooked up with Slash and stuff way before their first record came out.
This is something very Spinal Tap about this whole thing.
We're good friends with those guys and stuff, and we've got it worked out, so it's going to be it's going to be a cool thing for everybody. It's not going to be like Guns N' Roses is headlining and Metallica's opening. It's going to be, you know, Metallica and Guns N' Roses. And, you know, they're going to do their full set, we're going to do our full set, and then who knows what'll happen after the end of that. It'll probably something cool.
With Metallica doing its normal 3-hour show and Guns doing 3 hours plus an opening set by Faith No More, this was a show designed for hardcore rock addicts only.
And then play 3 hours, we play just over 3 hours, so it'll start early.
In actual fact, just starting on time would be an accomplishment for this chronically tardy group.
On the tickets, we used to just write around 9.
Yeah, right.
You know, not at 9, around 9, somewhere. And that could be anywhere.
The first night that I played with them, you get your little sheet and it says, you know, set time 9:30 and stuff, and I was already at 9:30 and stuff, you know, 11:30 comes around. So I learned quick.
I've learned to deal with it, and I can understand where Axl's coming from because he wants to give his best performance. And until he's ready, and he doesn't feel up to it, he doesn't like to go on.